Hi.
Folks, it's Friday. It's a lovely, lightly gray, non-boiling hot stretch of 5 days of supposedly rain coming through, which is going to be nice.
It was just a heat wave and that sucked.
Yep, it's true. But the kids are back to school, so take what you can get. So it's Friday. Being that it's Friday, we should do Friday things. One of those things is wrist check.
Yes.
Do you want to do a wrist check?
Sure.
Let's do it. Okay, here's Sabrina's excellent choice. One of my absolute favorite watches ever. This is just a great watch. This is a later 6105 8009 proof. And those are really pretty rare. This is original. It was serviced. It has a service crown. They put on a Willard style crown. It works just fine. There's just no locking pin in the case, but I actually really like the way it looks.
Moving?
Well, no, not yet. I'm just admiring your watch.
Oh, okay.
And then I am wearing MACV SOG 6119-8101. Bought this last week from the original owner and restored it over last weekend. The handset was missing, but I had a set of original hands that had incorrect loom. I'd reloomed them a long time ago. So I re-loomed them with a new loom mix to match the dial. I'm waiting on an NOS crystal. This is the wrong crystal. It's supposed to be smoothly domed. It's not supposed to be flat top with a bezel like that. Isn't that dial loom great? I mean, the dial got hideously damaged when the face was smashed, but thankfully the loom is all good. We're having technology issues because Apple charge cords they don't really have a long lifespan. And so you have to start doing that thing where you're trying to get the plug to work if you hold it a certain way, and it's just getting very frustrating. She's not happy about it at all.
I gave up trying to charge my phone. But I think 77 will get us where we need to be.
I hope.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for their condolences about my grandmother.
Yep. And everything's all done with that. Oh, you don't want to tell any stories, do you?
No, I'm not in the mood.
She's not in the mood.
Okay, mail call. Bruce Barlow. Be interesting to see what's going on inside that 6159.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about...
He wants to tell...
No, I was just thinking about Peepaw and the Hellock.
So, I'm not getting... I have nothing to do with the will. I'm a grandchild, doesn't matter. My uncle got the house after my Peepaw died in 2009, and...
They never liked each other.
Yeah.
Like the father and the son, but they did not get along.
And they're going through Mima's stuff, and there was a Hellock loan taken out 20 years ago, and it's because my Peepaw, my grandfather, decided to buy a new RV. Now my uncle has to pay the
$50,000 Hellock that her grandfather used to buy an RV after he retired and cruise all around the country. And he every time I talked with the man, he was pretty clear about how he felt about his eldest son, and he knew that Richard was going to be getting that house in Valhalla, and he must have just been grinning as he signed it off. I can't wait for him to get this surprise after his mother dies. And I'm just like, what a move.
Yes.
Holy cow.
And nobody knew about it because I think Mima forgot.
And people were mad that he was getting the house and all this other kind of stuff, and then, well, the battle continues.
There, you got to tell the story.
I keep thinking about it.
Okay. Now are you going to acknowledge the question?
I'm with the program.
Okay, Bruce Barlow. Be interesting to see what's going on inside that 6159.
Well, we saw what was going on inside that 6159. And what was going on inside that 6159 is that, if for those of you who didn't watch the video, is that somebody at the previous service had not been careful. They didn't seat the crystal fully into the side of the L profile gasket. They caught one edge of it on the top of the gasket and mashed it flat. So you had the sealing surface was compromised all the way around that. Enough water got in and it sat in one key place, right on the teeth where the center wheel intersects with the mainspring barrel, and it just rusted a chunk. The rust expanded as rust does, and it took up the space between those teeth. And when the barrel would come around and it would hit that, it would just stop. So that, unfortunately, or whatever, I got it. I was able to save that part. The center wheel for 6159B they're rare. They're rare. I have lots of the A's. I think I have 6 or 7 center wheels for a 6159A. Not so for the 6159B. And those two movements, the A and the B version, are kind of an anomaly when it comes to Seiko, because usually for Seiko, when they go AB, they only change a couple of things, and usually most everything will interchange. With the AB of the 6159, almost nothing exchanges. Even the main plates are different. It's incredibly frustrating. Different balances, different center wheels, all different wheels. So there was no choice. I had to save that center wheel. Thankfully, I was able to do that. I'm just extremely grateful that happened, because I didn't know how that was going to come out.
Nacho Valenti. The first watch that I had was the Seiko 7002, 7001 that my parents gave me when I made my first communion. I had some before, but they were more likely toys.
Wow, 7002, do you still have it? Does he say he still has it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, do you still have it? Do you have the stuff with it? Do you have a confirmation picture that shows the watch? That'd be pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next dude, I'm not even gonna bother trying to say the whole username. So, Matt2510. Hi Spencer, love your videos and great job on this one. I'm wondering how you straighten the sweep secondhand. Did you do it while it was off the watch? And did you use any special tools or holder? I own a 1970 6139 6000 proof Cevert, of which the 2-piece secondhand is slightly bent as well. Many thanks.
What I'm going to do is I'll put in a little segment right here, because I can blab about it, but I'll show off the specific tool that I use and how I go about doing that kind of a straightening. Okay, so I went through my stuff and I found a hand. This is a Seiko hand for a quartz watch. You can tell it's Seiko because of the way that it is. But actually it's because of how flat the top is and the way that the pressed in shiny part looks. And you can see that the main tip is bent. The way I usually deal with these, I have this pair of tweezers has this beautiful little channel in the end. I don't know if you can really see that. Sorry, I'm not wearing my cleaning gloves. You're gonna have to forgive me. But anyway, I usually do it where I grip the hand tube like this so that I can twist and correct it. That may not be for everybody. I like to really look at it. Another thing you can do is take your piece of Rotico and just blarp it there. Take your thing like that and then hold that and correct from there. So we see it's bent. This Horror-Tech, these are aluminum. They're non-scratching. And they have these little nylon jaws. And so the great thing is they taper. It allows you to really, you can flatten hands between this section. These give you a taper with more flex to kind of work with stuff. You can just, you see, that's why I like holding it. It doesn't punk away from me. I'm trying to do this standing up. Come on, darn it. Okay, this way I can hold it. I need to clean these. And I look down the length.
$2.25.
And I keep going down like this. Anyway, I just keep going back and forth until the hand is more or less straight. This is a real slapdash quickie job, so, you know, I only took a couple minutes to do that, but it's certainly, see, you get it straight that way, get it straight up and down that way. It's still doing it with my fingertips. Yeah, I went too far. But in any case, you get the idea. Off. Stop that. Well, I hope that was informative. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Brian Tool 9292. I was given this watch by my dad several years ago, but I don't have an OEM bracelet. Any idea on where I might be able to locate one?
The watch he's talking about is a Seiko Sports Diver, one of the 70-meter ones, 6106, 7107. They're really cool. So they're the round UFO with a black chapter ring, orange dial, black stripe hands, and an orange sweep hand. And they came on a bracelet that was one of, I think of it as like a strap type. Basically, you have these sort of biggish links, and then they have these overlapping fingers that sort of cross over the majority of the link and then dive through it. They were kind of a fragile bracelet design, and as a result, pretty much the bracelets always are gone. The bracelets always gave way before the watches ever did. It's very hard to find an OEM bracelet sitting by itself. I have pieces of one, a few pieces, not enough to build a single bracelet, and it's also in pretty poor condition. I think that came off of a junk watch that I got out of Southeast Asia like forever ago. It's not really usable. I keep it around simply because, I mean, why would I get rid of it? But it's tough to find. The only suggestion I could make is diligently search for one of that model where you had massive internal water damage, but the case and the bracelet are still intact. That's a pretty fine set of circumstances to hope to achieve, but you never know.
True Blue Miata. While I get that the different optical qualities of various crystal materials affects appearance, I avoid mineral glass for the simple reason that it is easily scratched and cannot be polished or replaced by most of us. I'd rather have acrylic in a vintage homage, since a quick dab of Polywatch is all it takes to clear the scratch. But I just now saw that there is a Polywatch compound for glass. This is new to me. Wonder how well it works.
I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. I'm aware of it, but I found actually a couple years ago now, one of you people suggested Flitz metal polish, and I was like, well, I've never heard of it. That's pretty neat. I ordered a tube, and it's kind of a miracle product. It's crazy. It does, like, you can rub just a little bit on a cloth, and it's like polishing silver. It doesn't eat anything down, but it cleans. Sorry, honey. It cleans surfaces really, really, really super well. I've used it on Hardlex glass crystals, and while it doesn't get rid of scratches entirely, the small, hazy, circly scratches, it will take those down. So it's just a matter, I guess, of, you know, how fine the abrasive is and what the abrasive is. I mean, if you've got diamond powder in a medium, a little, you know, kind of gooey medium, that would probably do it. I think the big problem with polishing crystals made of Hardlex is that you need to have the polish be a really flat surface, because if you're using your hand, you're going to start getting warblies, and you can see it.
Oh, that's why you go like that?
Try to. You want it to be absolutely flat. Like if I ever got off my Tookus and did the smart thing, which was to find basically a surplus or old used lens grinder, like an optical lens grinder. I have so many original crystals, and we could set them, I could regrind them. I mean, there's somebody in England who's doing that. They're taking original crystals and they're regrinding them and then reselling them. If they're clean on the inside, you could refinish them. I mean, most of those like diver and chronograph crystals are pretty beefy, and you could take those down. You're still, if you have a deep hit, it's still gonna maybe show, but I don't know, that's what I should do.
First Last NT6HU. Wow, you really have produced a lot of excellent watch videos.
Thank you.
They're excellent.
And some stinkers.
I saw your name mentioned in an eBay auction for a Seiko Duo Time. The seller said you helped him out getting the nylon plastic gear for the date advance second hour hand advance function. Myself and a couple of friends need these gears. Can you help us out?
I replied to this comment directly, so it's a link. What you need to do is just write Adrian Selleck of Vintage Time Australia, and that's Adrian at vintagetimeaustralia.com. He's the one that had those dealt with, and he can help you, and he's got the stuff, and he's good to go. Adrian at vintagetimeaustralia.com.
JB Seiko 6105 8119 with very unusual 3-notch crown, lovely watch.
Now this is just for, sorry to interrupt you. There's a very short variant. It was only a month in March of 74, I believe, where just for that month, they got crowns that instead of having 6 slots, like what Sabrina has in her watch, it has only 3 slots. And it's very specific. They're only that month, and it's a pretty under the radar subvariant.
This guy's name made me laugh.
Really?
Darth Dank XXX 1310.
Nice. If only it should have been
420.
No, Darth Dank XXX 42069.
I have one that I just found. It was my father-in-law's. It's been sitting over 30 years. 3-notch crown 1974 serial.
Yep, that's the baby. That's a rare one. What are you gonna do with it? You gonna do something with it? You know, so it's a rare watch. There are people who are going to be really interested in that. It's a very specific, especially if you find a collector who's a completionist, who needs all the weird subvariants like the 6105, 8119 long sweep transitionals stuff. They're things that are pretty minor. Some people will really want in their collection.
For SM Seiko 7548700F Stormin Norman. Paul Wright 890, great vid as always. Can you say what cleaning solution you use? And watching all your other vids, how do you go about machining out and upjewelling the center hole in cases where it shows wear? I finally bought a replacement watch, having lost my original one skinny dipping in a fountain in Manchester at 4 in the morning.
Wait, you didn't notice? Did you take the watch off, or did you go into the watch with the fountain?
Did you go in the watch with the fountain?
Did you go in the fountain with the watch? Sorry, I'm trying to imagine the steps of things that you would have to go through. Like, you're skinny dipping, you're in the middle of Manchester, you're going to strip yourself naked, you're going to go in the fountain, because normally when people get undressed and they wear watches, they typically are going to take their watch off. So, did you leave your watch on the ground or something else like that, or? I mean, I'm really curious how this all worked. And when did you notice that you weren't wearing your watch anymore? What state were you in at the time? Not like State of the Union. I mean, we know you were in Manchester, but state of being, I guess. That would be one of my questions. My cleaning solution is my cleaning solution. I mix it up fresh all the time. I made some fresh stuff yesterday. It's a cleaning solution that is very mild, that I use to lighten and clean loom. I haven't marketed it. I've thought about it. I don't know. I get inconsistent results. Sometimes it works great. Other times it doesn't really work that well for me. And but for the meantime, it's a secret. Sorry. And then let me see. To machine out the center wheel of the 7548, 7549, 7546 and install a jewel, use a thing called a Zeitz reamer. And it's an absolute core watchmaker's tool. It has all these different reamer bits of standard sizes, and you just have to open up the center hole to the correct size. I forget what it is right at the top of my head, so I'm not going to guess. You have to get the jewel. Seiko still makes them. You can order them. Jules Burrell has them. So you get that, and you use your Zeitschreamer, and then you use your Zeitschreamer to sink the jewel in place and hold it. That's the easy way to talk about it. In practice, doing it is kind of a nitpicking exercise because the main plate right there is the brass is really thin, and it's easy to stress it or something like this, warp it up. Also, where it's placed in terms of the material around it is a pain in the butt. It has this big raised C-shaped ridge of metal around that center hole, and there's not a whole lot of room to get an anvil underneath to hold it steady so you don't bend anything. It's just, it's not something to be embarked upon lightly if it's not something you haven't done before. But first thing, got to start with the right tools.
Joseph Stewart, hey SNS. Spencer, I've seen you do some amazing repairs on bezel pips.
Thank you.
My 6306 has a cracked pip and I'd hate to see it fall out. Do you have any advice on the best way to secure it in place?
Okay, so the pips, you have to imagine them kind of like a dessert plate under a dinner plate, okay? Don't like that. So you have this stepped thing going on. It's a single piece of plastic. You're looking at it in profile. So the smaller of the two is the outside of the pip. If the insert was down and the pip was down, you're seeing the under surface of the bottom of the smaller of the two circles. The upper circle, and it sits on a shelf that's a cutout in the insert. It sits there, it's held. So being split doesn't really mean anything. It still is gonna not want to come out because it's forcing together. Where it gets dangerous is if the loom in the back is really weakened, and then it can come out backwards. It can come up. It comes out of the insert. And the way you deal with that, well, there's two things. You need to check to see, do you have the little metal shim under your insert? Do you have the thinner insert with the shim on the bottom? In which case, if you have that, you don't have to do anything because the pip can't come out because it's got metal under it. If it's the exposed 6309 kind, where if you're looking at the underneath the rotating ring and it's black and you can see the white spot of loom where that is, all you need to do is just get a little drop of just a clear binder enamel, like clear model paint, enamel paint, just the tiniest little drop, and just get it, clean it first, get lighter fluid or something similar on a Q-tip, and just make sure to degrease that, just clean it off. Don't rub on it too much because you'll start to maybe dissolve the loom, but just clean it as best you can, let that dry, coat it with a clear binder, make sure to get over the edges and underneath, wicking the stuff in underneath between the ring and the insert, and then let it dry and you should be fine.
Boreal 99, can you say something about why this watch sets time by rotating the crown anti-clockwise? Does it also wind anti-clock?
Okay, this is a question about a 62 MAS. So the 62 MAS automatically winds. It does wind in both directions, but it doesn't wind by the crown at all. Time setting, any watch, you can set time forward or backwards. It's standard to set it forwards because the watch is designed to go forwards, and if you're setting time backwards, you're trying to make the train basically run in reverse. It's not really necessarily damaging. I just don't like to do it. But it's not, the watch is designed to deal with it. So that's that.
There we go.
Oh, this one, I was going to translate it for you.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You
I was
translate.
like, what the hell? I don't speak French.
So anyway, but this person who made a comment does speak French, and they commented in French.
I've never taken French. I'm not going to try and read it. But for Gigi, Seiko 6139 6005 evaluation. I don't understand that people who send their watches to Spencer don't clean them a minimum before.
Okay, in the case of this, is the gentleman had sent in his father's watch. His father passed a number of years ago, and he hadn't worn the watch for a long time. As many men of his generation did, he just wore it and wore it and wore it and wore it, and like it was just a thing to wear until he stopped wearing it. And that's what happened. The watch was never cleaned. So it had, you know, guck and dirt in the crevices and things like that. It doesn't, that kind of thing doesn't bother me. I mean, to me, actually, when I see that kind of stuff, impacted dirt and things caught in the corners and stuff I have to dig out with a toothpick, to me, that says it's original. It's never been messed with. It doesn't, I have gloves on, it doesn't bother me to clean this stuff. Plus, I'm gonna clean it anyway. And I'd rather the person send the watch in as it is rather than, you know, trying to make it look better. That's just my take on it.
Dr. Tixon. The owner of this watch has the little sister of my mint Seiko Poke 6139 6005, December 1975, 1 month before the watch in this video. 50 years old this year. I have been wearing it as an everyday watch since June 1976.
That's amazing. You're literally the only person I've ever met who can say they've been wearing a 6139 for 50 straight years.
In a few weeks, Seiko and Grand Seiko executives have given me permission to stand next to the Seiko clock, the historical Seiko clock, with my vintage Seiko on my wrist on the roof of Seiko House in Ginza, Japan, including a private tour of Seiko House and the Seiko Museum. Joe Kirk of GS took photos of my watch, and a VP shared photos of my watch with the CEO of Seiko and Grand Seiko. This VP made all the arrangements for my visit to Seiko House after he met me and learned that I've worn this watch for so long. You will enjoy your father's watch. If you treat it well, it can last for the rest of your life. Just keep it away from water, always protect the movement from shock, and get it serviced by a vintage Seiko expert like Spencer. Congratulations in owning your father's beautiful timepiece.
That's crazy. That's super cool that you're getting to go to Japan and do all that stuff. And the VP of, you know, GS, they're going to be talking to you about this and looking at your watch and really, I hope, documenting it. That's really, really, really cool. That's really cool. But of course, you know, I hope my work is up to snuff because of course I serviced it. But I don't know. If for some reason the subject comes up, tell them I think of them with all possible respect. I complain because I love.
4MK Seiko 7009 8109 restoration. Eduardo Suarez 2414. Sorry, I pronounced that as like the most American ever.
Well,
What am I gonna do? A bit of a niche question, but does the finish of the calendar parts have any effect on their function? Just asking because typically the day corrector spring in a 7009 will be a matte finish while the yoke will be polished, for example. I assume it's to do with how much movement or metal on metal contact the part will have or something like that.
Seiko is real workmanlike when it comes to their finishes. They will polish surfaces that are going to need working, like for example the removable jumper spring and cam for a date wheel in a 6105 or 6106 6119 blah blah blah. It's this thing, and it's a single piece, and it's got kind of a triangular bit, and that's the tooth that goes click 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 as the day wheel turns. Oh, from you for that thing. And then it's got a spring bit that comes up and it's caught like so. That whole piece is stamped out, and the surfaces on upper and lower are rough. They're unfinished. It's just the machining, basically. But the actual face parts, the little triangular bit that is on the jumper itself, doing the jumping, those are polished. So Seiko is, from my observation, extremely conscious of every possible avenue for shaving a few percents of a yen off of production. If they don't have to take the time to polish a piece of metal, I would believe that they would make that choice to say, okay, well, we don't have to go through this step. This is something we don't do. Another example of this is crystal retaining rings. Crystal retaining rings are a snap-on thing for 6105. Let's talk about the 6105. The way it does is that, pardon me, they snap in place, and to get them off, you have a case knife and go kick, and it snaps off. And they have a little fingernail cutaway, so it has a space for the case knife to go in to pop it off. At a certain point during the 6309 run, Seiko said, to hell with that. We're not going to spend the microsecond to go and take off that little thing. They just didn't include it anymore. For some reason, they felt that maybe they thought that people weren't really going to be changing their crystals as often, and they took that away, and they saved some percentage of money on that. It's wild, but I'm sure that Seiko makes those kinds of calculations all the time.
For JS Seiko H558 5009 restoration, Road Gent 7921. I would prefer the QT adjustment as plus 0.17 than minus 0.08. The former is a 1 second gain in 6 days or plus 4 per month.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really, really tight accuracy to get that. Like you, I would prefer to be gaining rather than losing, and it's up to the customer. He hasn't mentioned anything about the accuracy, whether that's cool. That's about the tightest I can get it. But like you, I personally would have chosen to put it to gaining. But that's a larger gain than half the amount of loss. So what's more important, overall accuracy or gaining or losing? So I chose accuracy.
Green bean.
A green bean question. So now we're talking about an MGB, not watches. So if you don't care about an MGB, don't have to watch anymore.
I saw 2 of them the other day.
Oh, yeah?
I told you.
I know you told me.
And one was dark blue and one was lighter blue.
Did they have their tops up or down?
Down.
And what were the kind of people driving them?
The dark blue, it was so dark. I was driving, so I wasn't looking. I wasn't sure if it was you because the person had a beard, a white beard. And then I was like, oh wait, no, that's blue. Anyway, the green bean thing. Bruce Barlow, great to see you taking the young lad to the car meet. This morning saw around 6 ex-New Zealand Army Land Rovers and an old U.S. Army tow truck in convoy, most likely heading to a nearby RSA, Returned Servicemen Association Club. They have a monthly car meetup and breakfast there. Have you put the airplane clock in green bean?
Pretty neat about those things going to the military. You should have followed them, followed them in training. You would have gotten there. I have not put the airplane clock in green bean. I was looking at it and how it worked, and I'm like, I can think of places to put the clock, but I'm like, but every place I tried didn't really, it felt like not a right placement. Also, stylistically, I found that the clock didn't actually match the sort of the look of the Smiths English dials. Also, I was like, well, if I'm gonna put an airplane clock into my MGB, I want it to be like a Spitfire clock. And they exist, but they're really expensive. So then I have it kind of on my back burner. But currently, for right now, I just serviced it. I got a mainspring, by the way, which means I can now rebuild a second clock and get that running. So maybe I'll start thinking about it again because I'm going to use a different type, but with a different look. But for now, I don't know. I'm kind of in a holding pattern. Too many questions. So this is kind of where I'm at. The thing I keep trying to do with green bean is to get a top on her. She had all of her accessories. She didn't have her convertible top. Like the frame, she had a brand new top, which had never been installed. And then she had the cover that's supposed to go over the top when you have it, which I don't. But she thankfully had this tonneau cover. And this is, I believe, for her because only the 69 and 70s had these taller, thinner headrests, not the later ones like that. So this is an original tonneau cover for a 69 or a 70. It's got kitty footprints on it. Anyway, I'm pretty okay with having a tonneau cover. I've been trying to get a working convertible top on this stupid thing I've got pieces, but it's just, I don't know, just a pain in the butt. But it's nice. You tug around like this and you just zip it up. I'm amazed whatever this material is, it still works. It's not a perfect fit and I have to install some more things, but Anyway, that clock, I was holding it there and putting it here and thinking about it, and I can't, it just doesn't fit stylistically. It bugged me enough that I just couldn't put up with it. So I decided not to go that way. But I'm still thinking. Okay. That's it. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. Folks, thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for watching. As always, we love answering your questions, and thank you so much for watching our videos. And we never take it for granted. Never, ever. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again. Bye.